Carrie Legend, and I'm here to talk to you about Tailwind tribes. Okay, so when you're new to tribes, you might come across this initial screen, um, and it allows you to discover new tribes that might be relevant to your particular niche. So you can start by typing something in and searching for something, or you can come down here and select a keyword and decide what that might fall under. So I do a lot of marketing. So I'm going to click on the marketing tab over here. And then we'll find something that is more relevant to me, like Pinterest. We'll try Pinterest. See if there's any new tribes or tribes that I haven't joined yet. I probably belong to about 100 tribes right now. And some of you are like, oh my God, that's a lot to manage. I'm actually winding down the number of tribes I belong to. Just because I'm having a hard time finding quality content in some of them, especially like the all niche ones. So I'm leaving a bunch of tribes actually. So you can see like in the Pinterest one, I'm in a lot of these already. But you can always like request to join certain tribes that you might not be a member of yet. So we'll request to join this one. You just hit the button and then you wait for the tribe admin to welcome you. The reason why I would choose this one, and you can write a little note. If it's going to let me. So you can send a message to the tribe admin. Regular pinner. Okay, so I'm just going to put like a little message over to the tribe admin, and we'll see what happens there. Okay, so we'll send that over. You can have, if you're on a paid account, you can have up to 10 requests to join outstanding. And then as tribe owners let you in, that number will free itself up again up here in the boxes. So you can see I have 9 left that I can request to join. Some of these it's in there that you don't regularly like to pin. Do you still join? Typically not. There's a few bloggers that have kind of taken over tribes and just saturated the feed with their content. Adding like 8 pins to the tribe a day, it's just overwhelming. Like they've overwhelmed the tribe with their stuff. So you can like actually like block them out by deselecting their profile when you're in a tribe. Let me show you how to do that real quick, just so you can see how easy that is. So you can turn people off so you don't see their pins in your feed. And the reason why you would do this is if you've come to know the blogger as somebody who's just out there for traffic, or if they're actually putting out like quality content, or if they're a good tribe member or not a good tribe member, you can block them out for that way. Or maybe like the pin designs aren't great, or the pins are really hard to read, or it's not something that you feel like your audience would actually benefit from. That'd be a reason to block them out. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So we're talking about how to block out people or certain pinners so that you can refine the tribe feed that you're currently working in, so that you can start pinning more efficiently. Okay, so we're in this particular tribe. I just joined it from the last video. And I already know some of the people that are in here. So I'm just going to block out a few that I know aren't going to be a good fit for my particular bloggers and my audience. And in order to be able to kind of make this determination, you have to kind of know who your audience is. For example, my audience is filled with people who are already blogging but haven't quite figured out how to get bigger. bigger in like sales, bigger audiences, bigger email lists, that kind of thing. So I'm not looking for newbie kind of material. I'm looking for thought-provoking, um, process-oriented, um, bigger challenges than just like how to start a blog type material. So if you already know that some bloggers, that's all that they focus on, or if you are finding blog articles written by pinners that are part of your tribe that are only solely focused to drive traffic to affiliate links, which I'm not a big fan of, you can like block them out. I like bloggers who actually put some meat and depth into their blogs and articles and don't push people into buying things in order to figure something out. I like to actually give my audience things, and I think my audience appreciates that. So that's what I try to find and focus on in repinning others. Okay, so the other thing that I do is I hide already scheduled pins. They might come from other tribes too, so I intentionally block those out. And then I'm in a better position to start pinning some, like this one, how to ditch custom proposals and monetize your sales process with a lead service. That's interesting. I haven't heard of that one before. So we'll go down here. 7 SEO tips to avoid being overwhelmed. Well, yes, I feel overwhelmed. I'll repin that one, and I'm sure that my audience does too sometimes. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for material that is going to be a good curated fit from my existing boards. All the while, I'm looking for content that's well designed and by bloggers that I know that I can trust in content and that aren't going to annoy or turn my audience off. Because remember, everything that you repin gets shared with your audience, and if you're sharing crap material, they're going to unfollow you in Pinterest, and that doesn't lead to growth. So I am looking for more pins to pin and share, and I'm not seeing any yet. Usually I define a tribe by if I'm able to get 8 to 10 pins scheduled within 4 screens. That's usually a good tribe. This one I'm not being sold on yet. Nothing that's really new that hasn't really caught my eye. Nothing that's like super well designed here. Look at this one. I'm not really into pinning seasonal content, so I'm going to pass on that one. And the other thing too is, keep in mind that I'm incredibly picky because I have a very, very large account with over 10 million monthly views. So I have to be very selective in what I share. I still pin 300 times a day, which I know seems like a lot, but it's actually not. But let's move on to the next video, and I'll show you kind of like how I evaluate a good pin first. Hey, it's Carrie Legend, and we're just going to continue talking about pin design and what goes into a great looking pin, and how do those pins differentiate between great ones and bad ones to get on top blogger boards. So I'm in a different tribe right now because I couldn't find anything good in the other one. So let's talk about these that come up at the top. Okay. All right. So as far as like content-wise, I'm not a big fan of these, moneymaker ones. I usually end up shutting them off because I think they lead just to kind of spammy course money-making type systems, which I'm not really interested in, and neither are my followers. So I ended up taking a lot of these bloggers off the member list for viewing, just so that I don't have to deal with that kind of content. And then that leaves me with a better feed to work with. So I just kind of strike these pinners out right off the bat, so I know. Okay, so let's start here. This one's square. We like to see nice long pins, so I'm going to pass on that one. This one, the font is kind of hard to read because it's so much serif. This would have looked better if it had used like a combination of two fonts. Like they could have put like the 5 steps larger, and then the rest of it in like a sans serif font below. But I do like the fact that they identify themselves at the bottom. Notice like in Tailwind, it's really hard to see. This is why you need to kind of like make these bottom bars a little bit bigger and use bigger text so that people can actually read on there. Let's find a good one. Again, square really doesn't have any place. I'm going to start turning this person off. Okay. I like to have nice long pins. And maybe they just don't know any better, I'm not sure. Okay. All right, so in my course, I talk about the use of brush fonts or handwritten fonts, and this is an example of how not to use it. Those are meant to be more of like an accent font more than anything. So I would have put this one in like a serif font or a sans serif with an accent word, like a highlight word. And I'm not sure what this is about. This honeybee, I'm not sure. Let's find a good one. All right, this one was good up until the font is. That's just too much text in the call to action right there. You can't even read it. Okay. This one could be cool. This yellow one right here could be cool if it wasn't so washed out. Let's find some good ones. When pinning to, I also look for content that isn't like obvious, like should I have a business or personal Pinterest account to promote my business? I mean, just kind of like obvious, or how to start a blog. There's so much content on that; it's overly done. If you're still pinning that for whatever reason, you can stop because you need to find something else. Let's see. Part of what else I'm looking for is visually stunning, lots of good white space, and use of font and color. So if there's any part of the text that I can't read, it doesn't get shared. So we'll continue this along. I'll try to find you some good pins that I would pin. What am I looking for? You might ask. So just to back up a little bit, I run a website, and it's about blogging and writing, and mostly like email marketing, copywriting, and Pinterest. And I've been doing that for almost now 3 years. And so as a graphic designer, I've come to be very experienced with, what goes into great design. And I like to try different things and, test things out. But there's certain principles of design that a lot of people don't know that I think that they should. So I'm going to share a few tips with you today on what those are and how you can create great looking pins so that you can have your pins get on big Pinterest boards and have people share your work. That's the whole point, right? Is to create great quality pins and have good content. Okay, so there's some principles that you need to know. One, when you're using a serif font, meaning it has little end tails, that's usually good for lowercase type use. That's what looks the best on Pinterest pins. And then if you're using a sans serif font, which means it doesn't have the little tail ends, use all caps with that. Don't use upper, lower with that. And then with serif, going back to serif again, you can use upper, lower title case with that. Avoid red. I know that there's studies that show that Pinterest pins with red text on it perform better. Just keep in mind that red is kind of an aggressive color, and while it might be bright and glaring, it's not always great for design. And you might be not getting repins just based on that with other bloggers that like to have a certain look or feel on their Pinterest feed. So one of the first things that I do is I hide already scheduled pins, and then I start turning off bloggers or pinners that I know just are not ideal for my particular audience. It's not meant to be mean, it's just, their pins are just not what my audience is looking for. So I have to turn some people off just to kind of get a good feed going. My people are interested in intermediate to advanced blogging. So talking about fitness or food is just not in the mix for that. So I usually turn that kind of stuff off. Okay, so let's talk about some of this. All right, what makes a good pin versus not a good pin? Okay, first of all, you want to stay true to your branding colors. Number two, don't use a whole lot of different fonts and font colors. Try to stay true to a maximum of 3 different styles on a pin. For example, this is a good one. It's using the sans serif font correctly, completely uppercase for that, and then it's got an identifier here at the bottom. I like pins that have an identifier of the website so I know who the blogger is and who the pin actually belongs to. That's always good. So if you don't have an identifier, chances are your pin is not going to get reshared on my board. Let's see. This one, see how the background box probably could have been a little bit whiter. They made it a little bit too transparent. Making this whiter would have allowed the font to stand through. I think this is a little too small right here. That could have been larger. Let's see. Let's find some other ones. I'm going to continue this video into some other ones now that you have kind of like an idea of what I'm looking for. And we'll do some more pinning. And
hey, thanks so much for watching my video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then hop on over to carrielegend.com where you can sign up to receive my clever, informative, and sometimes funny emails. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.